Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a pink doll-like look and I hope you like it. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to name it though, but I guess I'm going to figure that out later. So let's start now. To prime my eyelids, I'm using as always a primer. Of course, this time is the Soft Ochre from MAC. I personally favor this one because it sets matte and any eyeshadow I put on top is going to blend well. For the eyebrows, I use the Drawing Eyebrow pen in the shade 4 from Etude House. It's a Korean brand by the way, and I always order the products from them online. Because I went a bit overboard with my brows, I took a correcting palette from NYX and with that shade I cleaned up underneath the brows and also above them. For this step, any flat brush would do. This is one I have at hand. To set the brows, I use the GimMe Brow Gel from Benefit in the shade 3. I don't usually set them when I use like a gel to fill them in because that's already a gel and it's going to make them cemented. But when I use like a brow powder or a brow pen, then I feel the need to set them afterwards. So for this look, I am using the palette from NYX, the Ultimate Brights, and I'm taking first that shade there, which is like a light lilac-y color. The brush I'm using is from Zoeva. It's the 228 Crease Brush and I'm swiping this across the whole crease area from the outer corner, doing like circular motions to the almost inner corner of my eye. This is my transition shade and I'm being generous with it, and that means I'm covering a larger area. I'm taking the next shade, which is a pinky corally one, and this is going to be my lid color. This is a Sephora double-ended brush. So for this look, I want the lid eyeshadow to have like a slight border. I don't want it to blend really well into the crease eyeshadow. It's not going to be a gradient between the two colors. You are going to be able to see where the one starts and the other one begins. I'm usually the one that likes to blend really well the colors into the other ones and, you know, to see that gradient, but this time I wanted it like this. So now I'm going to leave the eyes for later, and I'm doing here my base and I'm applying a face primer first, the Indefectible one from L'Oreal. I'm using actually two foundations. One is the Becca Ultimate Coverage Cream Foundation in the shade Sand, and the other one is from MAC, the Water Weight Foundation in the shade NC30. I'm putting a bit more from that MAC foundation because it's a bit darker than the Becca one and it fits better my skin tone right now. And then I'm using the same Real Technique sponge to apply it. For concealer, I'm using the Stila Perfecting Concealer in the shade 2. This is very covering and thick, so you only need a bit. It goes underneath the eyes, on my chin, nose, forehead and everywhere where I have a bit of redness left. The loose powder I'm using is from RCMA and I love this one because it doesn't have any flashback. I've checked that. Sometimes when you use a creamy foundation, as I've used today, you need to put a bit more powder, setting powder, and this is what I'm doing. I'm using here the same Real Technique sponge and I'm pushing the product into my skin. I'm not baking because I don't like that. I mean, it makes me look like an old prune, but I am using a bit more than I usually do. The setting powders, when used in larger quantities, they tend to give you like a white cast when you are photographed with flash. So be aware, just so you know. Next I'll be using the Contour Spectrum palette from Zoeva, and I'm taking first the bronzing shade. Bronzers are not good for contouring usually because they are warm toned, but sometimes you can break the rules. I'm saying this because, for example, the Hoola from Benefit is a rule breaker. That is a neutral shade, which means you can use it both as a bronzing shade and as a contour shade. It's not very warm, it's not very cool, it's something in between, which makes it perfect. But this bronzer from this palette from Zoeva, it's not a contour shade, so I'm just bronzing where I normally do the cheekbones, the forehead, a bit on my chin, where the sun naturally hits. The contour shade is cooler, you can see the difference, and I am just using this underneath the cheekbone, only there. This will give more depth and definition to the cheekbones, and they will look more chiseled. The brush I'm using here is a contour brush, by the way, from Zoeva as well. For the nose contour, I always like to mix the two shades, the bronzing one and the contour one, because together they're going to be more neutral, and if it's not the Benefit from Hoola, then I have to do this. The highlighter I chose is the Laura Geller in Gilded Honey, and I love this one so much. I think I'm going to buy all her highlighters. This is no joke, it's absolutely stunning, this one, and if all her highlighters are like this one, then I'll be very, very happy. I'm using for the teardrop area the same highlighter, and also this is a Kiko brush, the 208. The blusher is a really good one from L'Oreal in the shade 120, Sandalwood Pink. I'm using here to apply it a Real Techniques blusher brush. So now let's go back to the eyes once again. I'm taking that mauvey shade for underneath the eyes. This is the same brush from Sephora, but I'm using the smudgy end. I'm applying this boldly but in a smoky way because I don't want like a solid line underneath the eyes. I'm also connecting the outer part of it with the upper pinky shade. The very corner of the eye I'm leaving bare, that is just for the highlighter. For top and bottom lashes, I am using the Lash Sensational Mascara in black from Maybelline. The false lashes I'm using are from Iris & Lashes in A10. I decided to use in the end the super liner from L'Oreal in black to hide the seam of the lashes and also to add bulk at the very roots. For the lips, I just used a lip lacquer from Revlon in Amethyst.
So everyone, I hope you liked this look. As always, if it did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you know the drill, and follow me on social media. I am on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Vero. This is new, and I guess I'm going to see you there and here on my channel. Mwah! Until next week, bye bye.